G'day, you nerdy Bomber fans. Well, Cal Toomey has dropped his draft power rankings. It might not seem like much news, and honestly, right now, it's not really groundbreaking or anything. But something that Cal does, especially later in the year, I guess he's just exceptional at reading how the draft will go. So it is all well and good for you guys to be listening to me talk about my, personal rankings and opinions on players and other draft gurus and whatnot. But Cal Toomey is better than anyone at actually predicting what will happen on draft night. It is his opinion that you want to be, focusing on a little bit. So we're going to look at his ranking today. We're going to look at all the players that, we could potentially be having a look at with our first two draft picks. We're going to see, what the plan could be for the Bombers. This is going to change a lot by the end of the year, by the way, his ranking. It's a really uncertain draft. The back end is going to be really important for some guys, so there's going to be movement. But that's why I think this could even be a monthly thing, looking at Cal's rankings and seeing, where our range is and who's in our range. Because, we'll have a bit of fun with it, do a little exercise out of it. And also, by the way, guys, stay tuned to Bomber Banter in the next few days, because I'll be hopping over there soon and chatting about the draft with Fiona. So if you've got any questions, head on over to that stream and ask when I am live there. But let's just get into it. So before we get into the players that may be around our range for the available picks we have to talk about where our range is. So as of right now, we currently hold picks 5 and 6 in the draft. That's because we also have Melbourne's first rounder that we traded for last year. But yeah, there's a big chance that improves. So right behind us on the ladder is St Kilda. They finished the year playing teams like Melbourne, North Melbourne, Richmond, us. Whereas we play, much tougher teams and we're pretty poo. So the Saints could easily leapfrog us, giving us pick 4. It's not out of the possibility for Richmond to leapfrog us too, giving us pick 3. So yeah, I think Essendon, we're around that kind of 16th to 13th range on the ladder, giving us a pick inside the top 10, 2 picks inside the top 10 with Melbourne, possibly 3 if there's Sam Draper compensation, but we're not going to take that into account in this video yet. But yeah, we'll just look at what the AFL predicted. The AFL predicted us to finish 15th and Melbourne to finish 13th. That would give us picks 4 and 6. Remember, the Eagles are likely to get band 1 compensation for Oscar Allen, which would fall back to 5 and 7. So we're going to have picks 5 and 7 on the night if things go the way the AFL predict them to go. So what we've got here is a list of the 10 non-club linked players that Cal has rated the highest. So these aren't their rankings on Cal's board. It spans from Cooper Duff-Tytler, who is ranked 2nd on Cal's ranking after Gold Coast Academy kid Zeke Euland. And then Xavier Taylor at 10 is actually ranked 15th on Cal's board because there are 5 other Academy kids rated higher than him. So this is the top 10 of the players that we can draft at Essendon. This is going to change. What probably won't change, though, is Cooper Duff-Tytler and Willem Dersma. I think they're both going to be rated that highly. I think it is unrealistic that we have a chance at getting, one of these two. Realistically, Richmond and West Coast, they've got back-to-back picks. I think it would be really odd for both these teams to pass on one of these players. They are right up there in most people's rankings. Then you go down the list and it's a bit iffier from there. So Dyson Sharp, this is someone who I haven't really talked about much on this channel, and that's probably because I personally think there are better options for Essendon. And I may be in the minority a bit that I rate him a bit lower as a future prospect. I think he is, as of right now, the best player in the draft crop. But yeah, I look at the ceiling and look at other people's ceilings and the weapons they have. Dyson Sharp just doesn't entice me as much as someone like Josh Lindsay, who's at 4. But yeah, there is obviously a chance that Dyson Sharp is available for our pick, and that, I guess the Bombers might look at him. We'll talk about that if that's going to be the case. But yeah, Josh Lindsay is at 4 as a halfback flanker who I love. He's probably my favourite of this draft for the Bombers. He's just a lovely ball user. He can play midfield. Sharp's more that contest beast, which we have a few of, but I think, what we don't have are many Josh Lindsay types who can use the ball and you can trust them with ball in hand. You got guys like Mitch Marsh, Aiden Schubert. I really rate them a lot, but, not really for Essendon. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with our forward setup for the future, and these guys are both key forwards. Maybe if we were to, try Nate Caddy in the midfield or something like there's been rumours of every now and then Mitch Marsh would be an okay pick because he's kind of like Nate Caddy in a weird way. But yeah, I don't think we'd be looking too heavily into Mitch Marsh and Aiden Schubert. Although, Mitch Marsh is one of the most talented players in this draft. Ollie Greaves, I'm going to sit on him for a little bit. So I think this is a really likely draft option for the Bombers. I think he is around that range of availability. He will be available for our pick the way it's shaping up. I think there's a group of players who West Coast and Richmond will be attracted to. I don't think Ollie Greaves is going to be in that group. Not because of talent or anything, but Same reason why we wouldn't be attracted to Aiden Schubert, because it doesn't fit the needs. So Richmond took Josh Smiley, who's kind of a clone. West Coast have Brute, but need more class. Greaves, I think, is just going to be around for our first pick. Or St Kilda's, depending on who finishes lower on the ladder. And that is what is juicy about Ollie Greaves, because I also think the Saints would be really keen on him. Like he's not just a big body, he is genuinely pretty clean on the outside too. He's played roles outside of the midfield, which is important. I think Greaves is a draft shaper. He's kind of that ideal option for a few clubs, Essendon and St Kilda. I think if the Bombers have 2 picks back-to-back, one of them is Greaves, if he's available. If our picks are split and St Kilda have one after our first, that's what makes it interesting, because is Greaves that player you take with your first pick? Or, would it be like a Willem Dersma if he is around, or a Josh Lindsay? So yeah, familiarise yourself with Ollie Greaves. I think he's going to be talked about a lot in relation to the Bombers. The next 3 guys, Sam Grill, really exciting player. He's very quick, great leg speed, which we do need. I'm not as sold on Grill as I am with Greaves as a player, as a prospect, but he's really in that top string of midfielders in this draft. I think the Bombers need another high pick used on mids. We need to boost that part of the ground for the future, and I think Grill gives us a point of difference with his speed. Sam Cumming, really promising player, this guy. I think this is where it's interesting, because, Cumming is just great. He's an awesome prospect. Clubs will be looking at him if we don't, but I think he just kind of fits into that type of player that we've got a few of. Like, for me, I look at Sam Cumming and I think Jai Caldwell. I think they're very similar players in quite a few ways. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bombers latch on to Greaves and Grill a bit more, because there's something new to them that they'd be bringing into the club. They'll be fixing a bit of a hole. Even the next guy, Xavier Taylor, really good key defensive prospect. Big fan of him. I like the way he uses the footy as well, which is really important in defenders. So yeah, these 10 here, this early stage, these are the guys in our range a bit. There are others on the outside, really close, and this time next month I'll probably talk about a few of them, because this order will change. But yeah, to hear about more of those guys in more detail, as I said, I'll be chatting with Bomber Banter soon. We'll be discussing the guys we should be taking. But what I'm going to do now, and this is maybe a bit silly to do in July, but I think it's a bit fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume that the order Cal has ranked these players in is the order of the draft. So West Coast take Duff Tytler and Dersma, Richmond take Sharp and Lindsay. What I'm going to do now is decide who I would draft at 5 and 7 if I was Essendon from these available players. Alrighty, so on the draft board, we've got Mitch Marsh, Aiden Schubert, Ollie Greaves, Sam Grill, Sam Cumming, and Xavier Taylor. There are more on the outside like Harley Barker. I'm a big fan of Harley Barker, as you guys would know, but I don't know if that's a realistic draft option. I just personally really like him. So he is involved in this discussion. But yeah, so if we're on the clock with pick 5, I'm probably choosing between one of these guys anyway. The best play here is Mitch Marsh. I think if we're, going best available talent, that is who we pick. He is the most talented of these players. I think it just makes more sense for the Bombers to develop that midfield, and I'd personally, if I was Matt Rose, I'd be taking Ollie Greaves with this pick. I think we need a quality big-bodied mid, and there is enough versatility in his game that he can actually develop a bit more. That is an issue we face with the Sardis pick. He can only really play in the midfield. I feel like Greaves at 5, or whatever it is after match bids, I think if St Kilda have the pick after us, that is, they'd be picking Mitch Marsh. But if we didn't pick Greaves, I think that is who they'd be taking. So I'm taking Greaves at pick 5. I then think the Saints take Marsh at pick 6. There's just less in their forward line. So, yeah, then we get to choose from Schubert, Grill, Cumming, Taylor, maybe Harley Barker on the outside. This is a bit tougher. So Schubert, key forward, I think we're going to look past him. I think we're looking at a different player. The other 4 are more in our zones that we need to fix up. The personal best available is Sam Cumming, but I think the other 2 fit our needs a bit more. I think bringing in Sam Grill will help the team and fill a hole, whereas Cumming is a really similar type player to Caldwell, who I'm comfortable with, and Xavier Taylor is one of the best key defenders. I think Harley Barker is a terrific wing option who's just done his ACL, unfortunately. Look, I think, a lot of it depends on what we do with our midfield in the trade period, but, just for the sake of this discussion, I think I'm going to take Sam Grill. I think, he could even potentially try more roles, maybe off half-back. It's probably a bit riskier than Cumming. I think Cumming is the more bankable prospect, but Grill makes more sense to give us that speed and dare out of congestion or out of the back half. So yeah, I'd be taking Ollie Greaves at 5 and Sam Grill at 7 to boost the midfield, and hopefully we have another pick or 2 in some way to bring us more defensive strength for the future. Guys like Max Kondagianis are later in the draft. So yeah, that is what I'll be doing. Greaves and Grill for now, Hussein and Swade later in the draft. But yeah, if that's all really. If there are any changes to Cal's ranking next month, I'm going to do the same exercise. Just kind of like as we go, keep it going until we get to the mock draft where he usually nails his predictions. But yeah, I think of all the rankings and everything you can see, this is the one probably that deserves to be talked about the most because he just gets it right more often than not, Cal Toomey. So yeah, cheers for watching, Bomber fans. Stay tuned to Bomber Banter. I'll be chatting the draft over there, the NGA boys, our likely picks. Hop in and ask some questions for us. But yeah, that is all. Like, subscribe, and go Bombers.